The Apple Vision Pro came out almost a year ago now. Since then, the public perception of this product has gone from the most technologically advanced piece of consumer hardware ever to Apple's biggest flop of all time. I've wanted to test out the Vision Pro for a long time and really dig deep into the reasons why, as of November, Apple has paused production of the headset. As an Apple Vision Pro user who was really impressed by the features and craftsmanship of this product, how could Apple be discontinuing it? First, let's look into the promises that Apple actually made about the Vision Pro to see how this stacks up with its practical usage. Apple marketed the Apple Vision Pro as its first spatial computer, a device that, according to Apple's website, allows you to bring the ultimate theater wherever you go, create a workspace with infinite space, be in the moment all over again with photos, and share quality time and space using FaceTime to collaborate and share space with colleagues and friends. Well, those are some warm and fuzzy yet not so specific marketing quips, so let me explain what I think this all means. To me, this marketing points to a very clear use case for the product: content consumption. Essentially, this is a media device, please use it to watch Apple TV. And additionally, you can talk to your friends in digital space. And finally, you can take everything that you do on the Mac into the third dimension. From my experience using the Apple Vision Pro over the time that I've had it, the main thing that I've used it for is to watch movies and TV in VR. It is nice to be able to lay down and watch a TV show on the ceiling of my bedroom. I also love the different virtual environments, which allows for some personalization in the type of setting you wish to be immersed in. If you want to write an essay for school on the moon, you can do it. The issue with a lot of the environments is that they feel fairly static, which is good for focusing, but the lack of movement doesn't really feel very convincing to me. As far as I'm concerned, the novelty of having your persona scanned into the headset for you to use during FaceTime and Zoom calls is actually really cool. For most people, the idea of personas is still very novel and too uncanny valley, so most of my friends generally ask me not to use my VR self to speak to them over FaceTime. In Apple's marketing material at launch, it was shown that you can use the headset to do work meetings in VR, where you can have multiple people virtually inside of a single room and collaborating in that VR space. But really, who wants to do that? The most common complaint that I see about this device, and the one that bothers me the most, is its weight. The Apple Vision Pro is heavy. Anytime you are not completely horizontal while wearing the device, you have all of the weight laying directly on the bridge of your nose. This is very restrictive and makes spending all day in the device to complete large or time-consuming projects unreasonable. For a device that has such a narrow use case and so many caveats, it does make a little bit more sense why the Vision Pro has not been selling so well at the starting price of $3,500. In comparison with a device like the Meta Quest 3, which only costs $499, Meta has encapsulated over 60% market share over Apple's 16%. But the price is not actually the problem. With the Meta Quest 3 and 3S, Meta captures a well-defined niche at a reasonable price point through the gaming community. The target demographic for the Meta Quest is mainly gamers that are expected to spend anywhere between $300 and $700 on VR equipment. Within that price point, Meta has also built off its demand to be able to work with developers to not only bring exclusives to their platform, but to be able to port popular titles from the PS5 and Xbox to Quest. Furthermore, streaming games have become more and more popular over the last couple years, and you can stream games through Game Pass and PS Remote Play. In comparison, Apple has yet to invest and incentivize developers to port games natively to the Vision Pro. It has made development for the platform more difficult than it has to be by forcing developers to work within the confines of a platform that only navigates its interface by hand and eye tracking. You can connect a PS5 controller to play certain titles, but it's not a universal remote for navigating the Vision Pro interface. Where the Quest uses controllers to navigate the majority of its interface, it also supports third-party controllers from Xbox and PlayStation as well. Look, Apple's expectations for Vision Pro sales were clearly out of line with the actual consumer demand. Initially, Apple predicted that they would sell somewhere between 500 and 700,000 units in its first year, but within its first 60 days revised its sales forecast to 450,000 units. Now the estimates are roughly about 420,000 units sold in its first year, falling short of even the most conservative estimates. This quick reversal shows that Apple very quickly realized that the consumers were not as interested as the fruit company thought they would be. So what comes next? Apple needs to make a few changes to the Vision lineup in the next few years, and that's outside of the rumored cheaper version of the headset. Making the headset cheaper will not in itself make it better. Fundamentally, Apple needs to change the use case for the device to realign with with customer demand. There have been rumors that Apple has started to work with Sony to bring the PSVR 2's controllers to the Vision Pro. I also think that Apple needs to offer first-party controllers as an optional add-on to the headset, and this can serve two purposes at once. First, to give users a more natural and familiar input device to interact with, and second, to incorporate accessibility features that allow users with disabilities to use and navigate the device that otherwise wouldn't. Apple needs to also work and collaborate with developers to create and bring popular titles to the Vision operating system by porting existing games or investing in the development of new titles that are made specifically for the Vision platform. By working and incentivizing with developers to build programs and games for the Vision lineup, you will then entice new users to adopt the platform. This is going to take some time. I believe in Vision Pro and the dream of the Vision platform. As I was editing this video on January 8th, 2025, NVIDIA, in collaboration with Apple, has now announced it will bring native support for its GeForce Now cloud streaming service through Safari for Vision Pro. This will undoubtedly bring new users to the Vision platform. Remember, when the Apple Watch launched, it was fairly limited in its use case, and it did take a couple years to heat up. This is the same with Vision Pro, but with the watch, it was the developers that made the Apple Watch what it is today. It was also Apple allowing the developers to make new and exciting applications that brought the users. Without a symbiotic relationship with the people making the apps, the platform will suffer.